Ryan, thank you so much for joining me here at the Retail Hive Exchange. It'd be lovely if you could just introduce yourself and a little bit about your company.
I'm Ryan Shannon. I'm Managing Director at Bamboo Clothing. As our brand sort of says, we make a range of activewear out of predominantly bamboo. So sustainable, regenerative activewear is where we're aimed at. Largely based in the UK, but expanding internationally.
Fantastic. And earlier today you joined our table on getting the biggest bang for your marketing buck. So how has taking a granular approach to channel attribution affected your company culture?
When I joined Bamboo Clothing 3 years ago, we were predominantly a catalogue-led business, both for customer acquisition and for customer marketing. And really we used digital channels in quite a small way to try and boost that catalogue performance. Fast forward to where we are now, we're now predominantly a digitally led business. We still use catalogue, it has its role. But what that means is the complexity of our marketing has really grown quite exponentially. And if I listened to each of my individual media agencies, I could quadruple the size of my business overnight just by throwing more cash in each of their direction. But common sense would dictate that there's a lot of duplication in the activity that we're doing across social and digital channels. And so from a practical point of view, understanding how each of those channels interacted with each other and what their collective performance was driving, but also trying to attribute that back to how much value each channel gave, it was vitally important so I could make investment decisions. And that's when we worked with Tapestry agency to come up with a fractional attribution model. It's not finished, I don't think it'll ever be finished, it's always going to be evolving, but it's really given me a much more detailed level of insight so I can make investment decisions and transfer budget based on fact rather than supposition. The other side of it has really been culturally moving from a catalogue mentality, and I don't just mean within marketing. Our product team used to design a range each season to fit onto 78 pages of a catalogue, whereas our website, where 96% of our sales come from, has a sort of almost infinite inventory. So to get their mindset to change and think about ourselves as a digital first business, it was really helpful to be able to show and share with the team the sort of contribution that each of those digital channels was making, so they could understand how it fitted into our promotion, understand how it fitted into our audiences, and then and had a much more digital first view of how they planned their specific parts of their role, whether that's merchandising, whether it's product design, or whether it's marketing.
That's fascinating, Ryan. And I know you said there that the journey's not over yet and probably never will be. What are some of the key insights that you've found so far, or the most interesting bits of attribution that you found out so far? So
typically attribution is done on a last click basis. And so, I think even though everybody understands that that's a fallible system, it's difficult to quantify just how fallible it is. So we've had some interesting insights. So display, for example, on a last click, attribution looks terrible, but through looking at some for various incremental tests that we've then fed into this fractional model, it actually is quite an important part of the customer journey, whether that's customer or prospect. And so it's changed our thinking in terms of how we use display, how much budget we put into display, and understand where it fits into the customer journey. And social has been something else. I know, from the round table, I know that social is a real problem when it comes to measurement, but because we've deployed the same methodologies with testing and incrementality, we've been able to come up with a much more independent measure of how social is working for us, rather than relying on Facebook or Google or Instagram to give us that feedback. And I feel much more comfortable that I can work with the team to make sensible decisions about how we develop those channels based on what I now understand is their contribution.
Fantastic, Ryan. It's a really interesting story, and I can't wait to hear more about Bamboo Clothing as you go forward on this journey.